You may begin.
I think I would too. I think he was because he was misled. I think that letter sent to his house. He left Caesar about that, but fake letter. So I think that Brutus was tricked into. Or because he had a lot of power and yeah, he had a lot of power and he took over. I really think there was a time when Caesar did it. Because Caesar was not only and then Sylvia of Rome and Caesar died, and that was his closest friend. And Brutus was deceived by one of his closest friends, and he ended up killing him.
So that we was facing that oh, and what I said it was to kill Caesar. And actually Brutus because of his honor and love for Rome, he it let him kill Caesar and hear out Cassius and other conspirators not to plan to kill Caesar. Brutus loved Caesar, he loved Rome more, and his sense of protection towards Rome and kill Caesar.
What about you, Kayla?
I think Brutus was for one with the young fellow. He was deceived by the fake letters. Yeah. At first he didn't want to do it, and then he forward into it.
I think both of you both deceived by people that trust and probably about family. They're both good.
And what does betrayal have to do with being a tragic hero?
You know, the traffic card. Tragic hero, he saved Rome, and he saved Rome by killing the person who saved Rome. They're both betrayed. Yeah, being betrayed would be pretty tragic. So, what's that?
I agree.
Give you a little poke here. Oh no, it's for the better of you.
Also, I believe Cassius was the most manipulative person. Because he deceived Brutus. Unlike Antony, who deceived the crowd, Brutus was like more educated and had more of an opinion and more higher up in the Roman empire. So he was able to persuade and hide it. I think the most persuasive is Cassius because most of us would have lived the letters and tricked Brutus. Brutus killed Caesar. And he not only persuaded one of Caesar's friends to go against him, but also persuaded him to become a friend. He was the ultimate kind of passion. And then he was kind of do that to his spirit.
I concur with that.
A comment?
So, I was going to say, I think the most manipulative slash persuasive person in the story is Mark Antony, because right after Brutus's extremely compelling speech, he goes to the crowd and completely reverses their loyalty. He changes their attitude towards death to conspirators and use sarcasm to reverse their view of Brutus. And And I don't remember who said it, but sometimes someone said, "He who controls the mob controls Rome," and that's kind of what happened here.
I can.
Yeah. I agree. Wait, then.
Can you connect that to mobs today? What mobs have we had today? Are they persuasive, manipulative?
Some of the protesters are persuasive, but some people use protesting as violence.
I believe Caesar was ambitious and he might have been ambitious for the right reasons or for bad. Before they killed him, he used to set someone's brother free. I feel he did not want to do so because they were in there for a reason. And he might have believed that everyone had to go to jail for something that they did.
I put Caesar's actions were not punishable by death because he didn't do anything and he got murdered by people who didn't have his friends.
I said, I think the death of Caesar was necessary for them because Brutus and the others thought that Rome, which was still a republic at the time, needed to stay as it was. Caesar was also playing favorites as if he was a king while he was in power. And through history, we know that Rome had many rotten emperors, and that thing is going to happen to everyone, but it can also be prevented.
Yeah, I said I don't think that he deserved the death. I think that it was too far. They didn't have to kill him.
Yeah, I said the same thing pretty much.
What else could have been done then? Especially considering what Brutus said about the adder in the shell preventing, but you're saying he went too far. What could have been done?
They could have just tried to like move him to a different country.
They could have usurped his position.
Could have exiled him.
Can't really exile him though. He was already a hero of Rome.
He's still getting exiled. Yeah.
I guess.
So 4. Imagine that an election was taking place after Caesar's death, and you were one of them. You were a citizen of Rome of the equestrian class. Because you have no particular loyalties to the upper or lower classes, which of the following candidates would make the best leader of Rome and why? And I put Antony.
Me too. Yeah.
I put Brutus for his love of Rome, and if he was in charge, he'd be unwavering and caring of all. Because he knows the value of conquest and keeping strength, so he would keep up the strength of the empire. And while in power, he would not be swayed as easily as if he had someone over him, like he did with Cassius and Caesar and Antony.
I thought Antony would learn from Caesar, because Caesar ruled the land and he knew what his job was, and then Antony would learn from Caesar.
I put Anthony because even when he lost his best friend, he could keep his head and try to do the right thing for Rome and stay with his loyalties.
Nice.
Those of you who started with Antony, you mentioned Antony, but you didn't mention why.
Because he's got to persuade.
Yeah.
Does that officially make you a good leader?
Yeah.
If you have the right reasons and you can persuade people for the right reasons.
People that persuasive people have also been really bad leaders too, though. Like, for example, Hitler was extremely persuasive to the German people.
He was
What about ISIS? What kind of persuasion are they using?
Fear.
So
Fear can be persuasive.
recruiting kids, because kids need a place to go because they don't feel like they belong, so they go somewhere where they say like, oh, we need you, you're important and all that stuff, and then they use them to attack people.
Yeah, so it's not only fear, but active, positive persuasion as well. Just think of the manipulation that ISIS has and what the ethos, pathos, logos that we've been talking about. Think of how they are very intelligently using all of those to get their power. It's scary.
Not only are they doing that, they're killing Christians.
Now, and they're killing their own Muslims that aren't following their.
They're basically saying,
Yeah.
if you don't follow us, you're dead. You're gonna get killed.
Final thoughts? All right, we're gonna move on. Switch our rounds. Those on the outside, could you hear the inside? No. No. Okay, so we're gonna need to speak up. And I got the mic here because I was thinking we were gonna be able to do this without the external mic, but we weren't. Okay, what else do you have outside, people, for analysis of the inside? Things that we can improve on.
Conversation.
Okay, in what way? Yeah. Sharing your opinions more, okay, and your evidence. What did the inside circle do well? Tanner. They talked, yes. What was good about the inside circles discussion? Did they have support to outside circle, not on there? Get in the outside circle, guys. Did they have evidence to support their opinions?
A little bit.
A little bit? Okay, so you can improve on the evidence part? Well, okay, outside circle. Look and see, are you commenting on discussion or are you commenting on content? Look at the cheat sheet that's in front of you. And then jump on the media analyzing link first. Use somebody else's.
That's my computer.
All right. And we'll have 12 minutes, so it will be 19 after when we end. And anyone can begin. Begin.
All right. The first question asked like who the best leader for Rome would be, and I picked Octavius Caesar because it was Caesar's adopted son, and I think he just deserves to be a leader.
That was the last question.
Oh, well, I have them all mixed up, so.
That's okay. You can start anywhere.
Are you sure?
So let's start with the last question. Who would be the next ruler after Caesar's death? What did you put?
Who would be the next? Yeah, Octavius.
I personally think that Brutus would be the best leader for Rome.
I agree with Tim.
Just because he wanted what was best for Rome, and so that's why he killed Caesar, is because they tricked Brutus into killing him or believing that Caesar was a tyrant.
Yeah, he may have had Rome's best interest, but he did act irrationally and suddenly.
Well, he thought about it in the gardens, and so then he didn't really think irrationally or right away, like, oh, I'm going to kill Caesar now. He got the letters from, the fake letters from, Cassius. So then that's what helped persuade him to be on the I guess, conspiracy side of things.
I somewhat disagree because he also didn't give Caesar a chance to really rule either.
I agree.
True.
Tanner, why had you agreed previously?
Because Brutus wanted the best for Rome and how things work, and that in those times you don't really give a person a second chance because with so much power, it only takes one instance to ruin anything for anybody.
What was his first chance? What was Caesar's first chance? If you can't give him a second chance, where was his first?
His first chances with how he acted for Rome. I mean, why would Brutus want to, and all the conspirators want to assassinate him if he didn't already have a first chance?
And plus,
When
When
he
he
was
was-
king for a week.
when he was getting
King.
when,
Must have messed up pretty bad in that week.
when he was getting the crown, he hesitated, or like first time he denied it, the second time he hesitated a little bit more before denying it. The third time, it was getting close to him just taking it.
He denied it 3 times.
But each time was a little bit less
Each time.
hesitation, and I think I'm betting you, he was offered it maybe 2 more times, he would have taken it.
Well, who wouldn't though? Like, if you're gonna be bugged about it so many times, then why wouldn't you just take it?
And if
It's
you're
like,
being
okay,
and if you're being bugged about it so many times, that shows that they actually want him to be the king.
mhm.
Or not only the person who's offering him
Yeah.
the crown, but the people of Rome as well.
Okay.
And that was
He wasn't
Antony's-
even officially king at that point, and then he got assassinated.
So who do you have, Seth?
I put Antony because I believe he'd be the best candidate because his rhetoric was more of a convincing standpoint than anyone else's because he swayed the opinion of the people of Rome after Brutus's speech into believing that Caesar was the right person to rule. But now since he's dead, Brutus is definitely not okay because he was the murderer. And also, he has enough foresight to lead Rome because he also believed that Brutus would not have good intentions in leading Rome as well. And later in the play, they're sitting at a table, Brutus and Cassius, I do believe, and they're just listing off the names of people that they want killed.
That would be,
I couldn't remember who it was.
that's Antony and
Antony Octavius.
I guess the reason, like, if you said that Brutus was irrational and just rushing with it, I
I
think
didn't say it was
Antony.
irrational.
You said irrational thinking.
Exactly.
I think
Not
also
irrational.
Antony was kind of like that because he didn't give really anybody a chance to explain why they did. He just went out there pretty much as soon as they were done talking and said, "Oh, they did this. They're bad people."
I like Antony very much because he played off people's emotions.
Well, Brutus did the same thing.
Yeah, but Antony proved why Caesar wasn't ambitious, though. He used the example of why Caesar didn't take the crown multiple times.
And he also listed the fact that Caesar included the crowd in the will.
And then he didn't even show them the will to have any proof for that. Like, he might have just said that to get them to be on his side. That's what I think was.
I think they're all bad people
Because
because they're all mean to each other.
That's pretty-
They all kind of.
that's pretty legit,
But
actually.
we're not kings and queens.
It could be. We don't know how it
We
was.
live in America.
So,
There's too much deceit and trickery in this play.
Yeah.
And on that note, let's move to the next question about deceit and trickery.
wow, good entrance.
Persuasion and manipulation is one of the most important themes evidenced in Julius Caesar. In your opinion, which character is the most persuasive or manipulative in the play? Use specific examples from the play, etc., etc., etc.
I think Antony is one of the most manipulative. Like, with going back to what we said, he
That's what I
used
said.
what Kim said. Back with the will, and all that stuff, like, and with the crown, he didn't really, he used that multiple times in his defense of Caesar, and also that the will, he didn't even show them the will. He just said, "Oh yeah, this was in the will," and with no proof to back that up. So I think that Antony is one of the most manipulative people.
But so is Cassius.
So is Brutus.
They're all manipulative.
I think Brutus is.
Like Gossip Girl or something.
Trying to talk everybody into killing Caesar.
You did.
If I was Cassius, I did.
I thought Brutus did.
They all killed
They all
Caesar, but
killed
Brutus
Brutus
was the
was
one
last.
that
Brutus was the one
is
that
the
killed him
one who talked
last.
everybody into.
That was
killing-
Cassius.
That was. I'm pretty sure it was Brutus.
Cassius
wasn't
talked Brutus into it, and then
By
Brutus,
sending
and then
him false
Brutus.
letters.
Collected the entire conspiracy.
Yeah,
together.
it? So
and then they all killed
Cassius.
Caesar, but Brutus was last.
So really, Cassius is to blame.
He was the culprit at the beginning.
Well, maybe he needs to be put to death then.
I'll flip his head.
Let's not get back to the in-cold blood thing.
Okay.
Let's wait until listening.
One more minute.
Chocolate's out.
It's been 12 minutes.
This question are all over.
Should we just go to the next question so we can get that one in? Who's
Yeah,
the
we only
tragic
got.
hero?
Yeah, we don't need to.
The tragic hero.
I put Brutus because he kills Caesar thinking that it's for the better, but in the end, he everyone runs him out of Rome, and then he dies in battle.
I agree
Yeah.
with Chase.
I do.
Yeah,
I think
with Chase
I
on
mean,
that one.
Agree with that.
that one.
I agree
Good
with
job. It was good.
I actually had something different, but that's pretty good.
that. That's great.
Actually.
What'd you have?
I had Caesar because even though he died early on, that was the tragic part. But the hero part was when his ghost came back and talked to Brutus, and then basically the whole battle ensues, and then he dies because he's been worried, and then he doubts himself, and then dies in battle.
So Caesar's ghost is the hero of the story.
Thank
Is that what
God.
you're saying?
The ghost. Just the ghost, not even him as a human, just the ghost.
How about
You don't
we
have a
choose
soul,
living
you don't-
being for the hero of the story? How about that?
Yes, ma'am.
All right.
We're gonna go with Brutus.
Wrapping up, your last Socratic discussion. I want you to get online. There are three things actually, that you have to do in the next 15 minutes. Get online and really evaluate how you grew in your discussion skills, your Socratic discussions this year. And that is on the 3-minute thinking thread. Let's not go. The next thing is your unit reflection, which is online. And then after that, you can have your battle gear and armor workshop. Anybody can make your separate gear. And if you haven't had time to do that, and you want to take some cardboard with you so that you can come prepare it tomorrow, that's totally fine too. Yes, Ricky?
Did you ever get a box cutter?
Oh, no, I didn't. Everybody else has been using that, those suckers, but we'll have to see if we can find one from the custodians.